Hello, Commanders fans. Today we have some hot news that you can't miss, so get ready because there's a lot of important information coming your way. Before we begin, we'd like to take this opportunity to subscribe to the channel, activate the notification bell, and stay up to date on all the news about our Washington Commanders. Don't forget to leave a like, which greatly strengthens our community and helps bring this content to the most passionate fans of the team. Now, without further ado, let's get straight to today's news.
Commanders' Jayden Daniels is ready to return against the Seahawks. Commanders star cornerback Jayden Daniels will return to the field in Week 9 against the Seattle Seahawks. He's back, folks. After missing the Washington Commanders' loss to the Kansas City Chiefs, Jayden Daniels will return to the field. The Commanders announced that the star quarterback will start in the Week 9 game against the Seattle Seahawks. Daniels has been in and out of the Commanders' active roster due to a hamstring injury. He missed 2 weeks of games after Week 2 because of the injury, returning in Week 5. He then suffered another injury during the team's loss to the Dallas Cowboys in Week 7 and ended up not playing in the most recent game, a 28-7 loss to the Chiefs. With a 3-5 record this season, the Commanders' campaign is at risk as we enter the halfway point of the season. With the Eagles dominating the division for now, Washington's path to the playoffs will likely go through the wildcard round. To get there, the Commanders will probably need a 50% or higher winning percentage to have a chance. A winning streak from now on should help them achieve that goal. Daniels, the Commanders' second overall pick in last year's draft, is having some adjustment difficulties in his sophomore year. Praised in his rookie year for his accuracy and high completion rate, Daniels is posting a 61% completion rate after 5 games. That's significantly lower than the 69% completion rate he had last year. He has accumulated 1,031 passing yards in that period, throwing 8 touchdowns and throwing 1 interception. Rushing the ball, he added 211 yards and 1 touchdown. The Commander star hasn't yet reached the same level as last season, but remains quite reliable for Washington. The Commanders have a tough task ahead of them as they face one of the league's best teams this season, the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks have a 5-2 record after 8 weeks and have been performing very well recently. With Sam Darnold's continued recovery, Jackson Smith and Jigba's exceptional season, and a surprisingly solid defense, Seattle is establishing itself as a competitive team. A win here would be a significant statement for the Commanders as they look to bounce back in 2025.
The proposed trade between the Commanders and Bengals could boost the struggling team's recovery. More changes seem unlikely, but you never know. Adam Peters is an aggressive roster builder. The Washington Commanders bet everything on consolidating the team's status in the NFL elite during the preseason. Unfortunately, things didn't go exactly as planned. The Commanders are 3-8 after an alarming drop in recent weeks. They have a series of injury problems that are hurting them, and it's a long way before a team that reached the NFC Championship game last season can even think about returning to the playoffs this time. Fans are disheartened, and a loss in Week 9 to the Seattle Seahawks on Sunday Night Football would practically end their chances. This also put Peters in a delicate situation before the 2025 trade deadline. The Commanders have salary cap space to make a trade, but the capital available for draft picks is scarce. Although it seems highly unlikely that Washington will make another trade, nothing should be completely ruled out. ESPN analyst points to Logan Wilson as a possible trade target for the Commanders. ESPN's Ben Solak believes that if the Commanders had one more card up their sleeve before the November 4th deadline, calling the Cincinnati Bengals to inquire about the availability of veteran linebacker Logan Wilson wouldn't be a bad idea. This could alleviate pressure on Bobby Wagner and allow Frankie Louvu to play more on the defensive line. The Commanders clearly need short-term help at the linebacker position, where Bobby Wagner's difficulties in pass coverage have become common knowledge for opposing offenses. They also want Frankie Louvu to play more on the sideline, as they did against the Chiefs. Wilson is in the second half of his career, but he would immediately fill some of the gaps they need should this defense manage a mid-season turnaround. This would only be a stopgap solution, but if the Commanders want to start looking to the future, then trading a veteran like Wilson isn't an option. They need to find out more about what Jordan Magee can offer. His athleticism is absolutely exceptional, and while there are some flaws in his coverage, that should improve with more experience. Until then, he can give the Commanders explosiveness, urgency, and dynamism on the second defensive line. That's something Wagner can't consistently provide, as his skills are waning. If the Commanders were in contention, it would be a different story. Unfortunately, that's not the case, and Washington needs to consolidate its position instead of wasting more capital, as this season could end up being a lost cause. PETERS won't hesitate to do what he believes is best, but the well is running dry.
A bombshell trade could save the Commanders' season after Terry McLaurin's injury. Washington could use another receiver. The NFL trade deadline is approaching, and the Washington Commanders are in a moment of transition. With a 3-8 record, Adam Peters' most likely decision seems to be selling players instead of buying. But this is a team that started the year hoping to contend for a long playoff run. Selling the team would be an admission of failure due to a lack of willpower and would confirm a losing culture that the Commanders cannot, in any way, allowed to take hold again. The Commanders went through this 2 years ago, when Washington traded defensive ends Chase Young and Montez Sweat just hours before the deadline. The team gave up. Everyone was just going through the motions, waiting for the season to end. Please, let's not repeat that. Washington needs to do whatever it takes to salvage a decent season in 2025, even if it seems like a lost cause. There's a move that could yield significant results. Commanders name possible landing spot for Saints wide receiver Rasheed Shahid. Dan Quinn's team urgently needs reinforcements for its receiving core, as All-Pro Terry McLaurin has played only 3 games in 2025, and Noah Brown is on the injured list. One player who could solve many of these problems is Rasheed Shahid. The speedy receiver has accumulated 431 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns in 8 games in the 2025 season, the final year of his rookie contract with one of the worst teams in the NFL. He's a perfect candidate for a trade, and Dan Tracy of the Sporting News hinted that Washington could benefit from his services. With Terry McLaurin's hamstring injury, the Commanders need to decide if they still have a chance to contend for the title this season. If they believe that path is possible, a long-range receiver like Shahid could be a great addition, complementing Daniels' powerful arm in the final stretch of the season. Dan Tracy. Adam Peters is already used to doing business with the Saints, having acquired 4-time Pro Bowl selection cornerback Marshawn Lattimore at the 2024 trade deadline. That trade didn't prove particularly successful over time, but Shahid seems like a much better option. The Commanders need an explosive and creative player on offense now that McLaurin is out again. Luke McCaffrey has shown at times that he can offer that, as has Deebo Samuel Sr., although the veteran's performance has dipped since the beginning of the year due to a heel injury. However, Shahid could open up Washington's passing game and help Jayden Daniels rediscover the brilliance of his rookie season.